Morning, guys. Jeff coming to you again here on this rainy Tuesday morning. Got to work a couple minutes early. Something heavy on the brain this morning. I'm going to make this quick video. I normally don't start videos like this, but subscribe, like, and share. Not so much as attention. I don't seek attention. I just want to raise awareness. Okay, the video I want to do here. Quick. I'm seeing more and more of these scenarios come to reality within my direct immediate families. Whether it's cancer, whether it's pneumonia, whether it's arthritis, gout, diabetes. And while the medical establishments will lead us to believe all these types of things are incurable, this is not true. It's just by their design, they don't address the root causes. I want to draw light to a couple areas and a couple names. Just some things that I want people to seek and research, because answers will come. And that's the thing, all the different cancers, diseases, disorders, while they're affecting different organs and different systems, they can all be rooted back to three root causes. I'm going to say four, because you'll see why. The first one is over-acidity. Our bodies, if we do not get efficient amounts of hydrogen, it cannot balance itself in the cardiovascular system. If our cardiovascular system is not balanced with the environment, loaded of plasma, hydrogen, oxygen, minerals, energy, it loses homeostasis balancement. And then an array of different action and reactions, cause and effects stem from that. So that's one, over-acidity. Two, levels of toxicity. The toxins that we inevitably consume, whether it's just through our respiratory system and breathing, whether it's through our digestive system with the foods we eat, with the foods, the packaging our foods packaged in, whether it's showering, bathing, drinking the tap water, being exposed to fluorides, chlorines, etc., etc. Our organs gets toxified. Our liver and our gallbladder and our appendix and our tonsils and so on and so forth. That's two. Levels of toxicity. Now three. This is okay, now three. Malnutrition. Deficiencies. When our body lacks the mineral content to rebuild cells. This is one part to the root causes to cancer. Because it's first an overacidic state throwing off homeostasis, where we don't have mitochondria, where we don't have the plasma in our blood for the blood to move freely, which has to do with the hydrogen. the deficiencies, when we lack the mineral content to rebuild cells, and when our red cells are not dealing with dead cells, taking out the dead cells, those dead cells don't get dealt with. They'll multiply, and they'll continuously multiply until homeostasis balancement is restored. This is cancer growing. Cancer is merely a fungus. It's undealt with dead cellular structure. This is why if you look up any surgeries where they've cut out cancers, it's always been white. And if you take a live fruit or vegetable and you cut that fruit or vegetable in half and you expose the inside to oxygen, fungus will build on it. White fungus, to be particular. This is the same ideology as what's happening inside of our bodies. That's dead cellular structure. Okay, that's 3 deficiencies. Now the 4th one I'll add into here has to do with the mind, thought processing, focus, attention, awareness. Because most are in this induced fear-based state. And when we're in this fear-based state, our brains produce something called cortisol. It puts us into a fight or flight mode. And when our body is in this fight or flight mode, it shuts off our immune system. It shuts off our immunity responses. It stops rebuilding cells. It stops dealing with dead cells. It stops removing toxins. So these are the 4 areas, if they would actually efficiently deal with and address within our medical establishments, cancers would cease to be. Diseases would cease to be. Disorders would cease to be. Because this is when we focus on these root causes, the overacidity, the toxicity, the malnutrition, and the stress cortisols, the stress hormones. If we address those 4 root causes and we exercise our body's natural abilities of flushing itself out, instead of like in the hospitals, what they'll do, they're indoctrinated to subconsciously put a band-aid over an infection. And I say that because they don't address the root causes. They mask biological symptoms and malfunctions with synthetic chemicals. They hide the symptoms. They don't teach you how to flush and detoxify your body, your organs. How your gallbladder can flush those toxins out when it becomes toxified. Your tonsils can flush itself out. Your appendix can flush itself out. Your spleen, your gut. They don't teach you how to flush yourself out. They pump you full of antibiotics, ultimately killing off the good bacteria you need. Or they cut the organs out. And that's like your home having a dirty air filter on it. That's like taking the filter out and just throwing it away and not replacing the filter. Now, with that being said, I wish people would look into a couple of these names. Dr. Sebi, a herbalist from Honduras. He was curing AIDS and cancers back in the 90s. I'm not going to go into his deep backstory, but he ultimately come here, put ads in New York papers, and the government tried arresting him. He went to court facing 13 charges. Not only did he beat the 13 charges and prove the false claims, he proved 72 cases based off of our medical establishment's documents, the befores and afters. The hospital saying they had cancers, the hospital saying they had these incurable diseases. They'd bring these documents to his retreat, his resort, He'd put them through these detoxifications and revitalizations, and he would send them back to get checkups. And the diseases and cancers and disorders would cease to be. Dr. Shinya, that's one. Or Dr. Sebi, that's one. Dr. Shinya, that's a second one I want you to look into. He was doing it more so with alkaline water. He was electrically charging water, creating hydrogen-rich water. As I was saying in the beginning, over acidity, this is what he was addressing. Harry Hoxsey, there's another one that battled J.D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, and J.P. Morgan in the beginning of the synthetic chemical-based industry, when they first started establishing and marketing, where they systematically bought out our schools, and within buying out our schools, they changed the education that they were pushing. They systematically removed nutrition while adding and indoctrinating the masses in the schools to synthetic chemical-based treatments, the pharmaceuticals and the vaccinations. Just like if you rewind time a little more, because that was in the early 1900s, you go to the mid 1800s. You had Louis Pasteur. He's the one that created the concept behind vaccinations and the one that created and pushed germ theory. But during his time frame, Antonio Béchamp, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but it's spelled Béchamp, B-E-C-H-A-M-P. Béchamp was doing it. They both were biochemists, but one was a synthetic chemical studier and the other was organic chemical studier. One was using synthetic chemicals, one was using organic chemicals holistically, while Béchamp was having great success rates. He ultimately got blacklisted, blackballed, while Louis Pasteur got pushed into the mainstream. Béchamp got removed. That's just like with J.D. Rockefeller and his little cronies pushing out Harry Hoxsey. Look up these names. Look up their life's work, because their work still exists. They just don't get pushed in the mainstream. They don't get brought to light of the masses. So realize, if you're suffering from cancers or diseases or disorders, and you're being led to believe that it's incurable, they're lying to you. It's a blatant lie. Because what they want is a lifelong customer. They want somebody who's going to come back every month and refill a prescription. Come back for checkups. I've personally seen cancers not only reversed, but completely removed, where it's no longer an issue. Arthritis, diabetes, gout. Realize you have far greater potentials. You have God-given abilities that we're just not focusing on. We're not exercising. Realize seeking knowledge is the key. Your health is your foundation. Your beliefs are your success, and your wisdoms are your power. I hope all create blessed days for themselves. And I love you guys. One love.